In life, if to succeed, you have to have total passion and total commitment.
He created around him one of the greatest cricket teams the world has ever known.
With Pakistan and England, there was always this tension between the two teams.
Pakistan win the World Cup.
Imran Khan was the nearest thing that cricket has produced to a world historical figure.
You've got to believe that you're going to win. And I have never not believed that one day I'm going to win.
Now, the impression you get of Imran Khan today is of the politician. He's left cricket behind. He's had all kinds of offers to stay in the game, but he's now become this formidable politician with really getting eyes either on the becoming Prime Minister or President of Pakistan.
We've been here a week now. We've travelled to Peshawar in the north, through Lahore, Islamabad. Everywhere we have been, we've seen cricket played on the streets, in the car park lots, everywhere. How important is cricket here?
I think cricket was always the #1 sport in Pakistan. But it became a mass sport gradually. I think it was when we played India in 77 onwards, and then in 82, it just exploded in Pakistan. And then when we won the World Cup, it went to the tribal areas, to the northwest province frontier, which is now KP province of Pakistan. So it spread everywhere.
This was a well-planned, well-orchestrated and well-equipped attack. The Sri Lankan cricket team was just arriving at the Gaddafi Stadium when the gunmen pounced. The police believed there were a team of 12 terrorists. The police guarding the cricket convoy were the first targets. Several of them were shot and killed straight away. Then the cricketers themselves came under fire.
It was 6 years ago, on March the 4th, 2009, that the terrorist attack happened on the Sri Lankan team bus at this roundabout. It was a horrific attack. Policemen died, a couple of civilians died, 6 members of that Sri Lankan team were badly wounded as well. And since then, in international cricket terms, Pakistan has been in the wilderness. How damaging then has isolation been? After the attack on the Sri Lankan team bus in 2009, we stood on the roundabout where it happened the other day, and there's been no international cricket played here since then. How damaging has that been?
Very damaging, because people love cricket here, and there's just been no international cricket. And then there has not been even quality first-class cricket to compensate. For instance, in South Africa, they had very good
during isolation,
Curry Cup or whatever it was during isolation. They had quality first-class cricket, 6 teams, quality teams. And still, when they came straight back into international cricket, because the domestic cricket was of very high quality. In Pakistan, unfortunately, we do not have a very high-class domestic competition. We have this weird system of departments, airlines, banks playing cricket. I didn't, as captain, I never knew. There were sometimes 20 teams, sometimes 25 teams, and very poor standard. I think now with this Pakistan 20 overs series they played in Dubai recently, I think this will bring a change, because suddenly people have realized that if you have regional teams competing, there's much more public interest.
Just touching on the Pakistan League that's just finished in Dubai, I think the viewing figures for the final yesterday in Pakistan were higher than for the World Cup in 2015, which is remarkable. But every foreign player, every player not from Pakistan who was asked before the tournament whether they would play in Pakistan, to a man, they said no. Are they right to be so concerned about security?
Well, you know, when you're outside Pakistan, the place seems much more frightening. You know, when I was married to Jemima, and after 9/11, each time she would come to Pakistan, people would give a farewell dinner saying this is the last they'd see of her. So it seems much more frightening. And for cricket, cricketers. I guess after what happened to the Sri Lankan team, I guess they would be scared. But actually, it's now I think Pakistan is ready for international cricket.
Right now, or will it take a period of time?
It is ready now, but I think to get the confidence, maybe it'll take 2 or 3 years. But I think as things stand today in Pakistan, we've had this operation against terrorism in the last 1.5 years. And actually, things are, I mean, you can tell by when politicians roam around freely, then things are getting better.
The bomb exploded next to a children's fairground in a popular park while crowds of Christians gathered for the Easter holiday. Most of the dead and injured are women and children.
It's 2 months since we caught up with Imran in Islamabad. He's over here in London. This is where he stays, in Richmond, southwest London. He's over here for a fundraiser for his hospital. It's a good chance to catch up with him because a lot has happened in the intervening period. In particular, that horrific bomb attack in Lahore, which killed 72 people, targeted Christians in a park over Easter. A good chance to catch up with Imran and ask him about that. About 2 weeks after we left Pakistan, there was this horrific bomb attack in Lahore. First of all, where were you when you found out about the attack and your initial reaction?
I was in Islamabad when I heard about the attack, and I actually went to Lahore. And you see, it's now 10 years I've been going to hospitals and seeing the victims of bomb attacks. The people who die sometimes are lucky. The ones who survive, you see them, legs missing, eyes missing, arms missing, and in this case there were children. So it was a horrific bomb attack.
You roundly condemned the attack straight away, condemned the faction of the Taliban that carried out the attack, and yet in some quarters I've seen it said that you're a Taliban sympathiser. How do you square the two?
It's simply because this George Bush mantra that either you're with us or against us. So either you are pro-war or you are pro-terrorist. This is as stupid as it is. It's so illogical. People like us who were anti-war were called pro-terrorists or pro-Taliban.
When we spoke in Islamabad, you were quite positive about the chances of cricket, international cricket, returning to Pakistan. You felt it was reasonably safe for players to come back. Has that attack in Lahore changed your mind?
I don't see the cricket, international cricket resuming in Pakistan, at least for the next 2 years. Yes, it is a setback because things were, in 1 year, level of violence had come down. The number of terrorist attacks had come down. And then you have not just this, but there were 2 very serious attacks in Pakhtunkhwa, in the province where we have our government. And a lot of people were killed, so I don't see international cricket coming back to Pakistan.
By winning this World Cup, personally, it means that one of my greatest obsessions in life, which is to build a cancer hospital, I'm sure that this World Cup will go a long way towards completion of this obsession.
In 1984, Imran's mother, Shaukat, was diagnosed with colon cancer. She died a year later, and Imran was so appalled at the lack of integrated care for cancer patients in Pakistan that he dedicated himself to opening a new cancer facility here in Lahore. It took him around about a decade. This place, the Shaukat Khan Memorial Cancer Hospital and Research Centre, opened in 1994. It has revolutionised care for cancer patients in Pakistan. It's a remarkable institution. It gives 75% of cancer sufferers free treatment. There are a lot of doubters said you couldn't do it.
Everyone thought I couldn't do it. There were articles making fun of me. I had 20 doctors call for, and we had a board of governors. I formed the board of governors, called these doctors to say that this is what I want to do. 19 said you can't build a cancer hospital because the running costs are too high and equipment is too expensive. Even the government couldn't build it. One said you can, but then he said you can't give free treatment to poor patients because the cost of treatment is too expensive. So they laughed at me. And this was the story throughout. When the hospital was open, they said, now you can't run it. First they said you couldn't build it, then they said you can't run it. And thanks to the Almighty, it is one of the only private cancer hospital anywhere in the world where 70% patient plus get free treatment.
It took you 10 years, or thereabouts. Your mother, I think, was diagnosed with cancer in 84. It opened in 94. Throughout that period, is that when the religious reawakening happened as well?
After my mother's death. I think a crisis in your life leads to going inside yourself, soul searching as they call it, and you ask yourself questions which normally, and in my life, it had just been, basically it was getting better each year. I mean, I would be going from success to success. And suddenly this big crisis, because I was very close to my mother. And actually was seeing the pain. She suffered. I mean, the last six weeks of her existence, I saw her suffer. And this helplessness, not being able to do anything.
I have no doubt that Imran Khan is one of those relatively unusual people who has a sense of personal greatness and personal destiny. That destiny, first of all, manifested itself in his amazing cricket career when he forged the national team and made it the best team in the world, made it capable of combating Australia, West Indies. And then it forged itself in this enormous monument to his mother, the great hospital, which is still there, still very, and then it manifested itself in the political career.
Where did the political awakening come from?
Actually, it came when I was building the hospital, and I couldn't collect the money from, I thought, you know, all these rich people I knew, school I went to was the elite of Pakistan, and I got no response from them. So in the end, I was forced to go to the streets, and I did a 6-week campaign, would go morning till evening in the bazaars with a box behind collecting money from people, and then school children in the morning, bazaars in the afternoon. So it was the common people who helped me. The elite has its own hospitals. If you have money, you can get good treatment. If you have money, you can get good education. If you have money, you can get justice. If you don't have money, you don't have justice, education, or health. And so it was the sense that we do not have socio-economic justice in our country that then I first thought I would join a party, but then there was no political party which I thought stood for what I believed in. So then I formed my own party.
You set up your party in 1996. For a long time you were looked at as a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it reminded me, you know, when it's the first time I faced ridicule, you know, people making fun of you. And then in hospital, actually, I had articles written in the papers. There's going to be a white elephant, he doesn't know what he's doing. Even my family members said, you've gained so much respect from cricket. Why do you want to, this is not going to work, and you know, you lose this. And same happened with the political party. When my party lost the first election, I mean, the sort of jokes that and the ridicule, but then I was seasoned, battle hardened by this time. I knew the dynamics of facing defeat. So don't read the newspapers, don't go out to any public meetings, don't go to marriages, especially here, you know, sort of go isolation for a while.
But was that quite a difficult period? I mean, you know, as you say, you gained a reputation. It would have been easy, I suspect, just to take the easy road after winning the World Cup in '92. Was that struggle then a difficult time?
Actually, two different things. One, I always wanted to leave cricket once I finished playing cricket, because I think that the potential of a human being only grows. All of us have great potential. It only grows when we challenge ourselves. The moment life becomes easy, it's all downhill. So you know, once you're no longer challenged, I always felt that I would decay, and all the experience I had gained must be used. So at that time I was in hospital. But I never wanted to take the easy road and stay in cricket. The second thing was actually my faith. As I became more spiritual, I began to realize that, there's a purpose for existence, and the basic purpose in every religion is the same. That the more God gives you, the more responsibility on you. What do you do for those who hasn't given much? This is the basic message of every religion. And above all, in Islam, for instance, the main reasons for existence is to stand for a just society. In other words, on earth we should establish justice. And all the great prophets, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, all of them fought for socio-economic justice, if you look at the history. So that is our purpose of existence. And so I thought, initially the hospital, I thought I was doing my bit. And during the hospital, I thought there is so much injustice that I should really form a party, movement for justice.
Mm-hmm. Breakthrough came in the last election, where you returned, I think, 35 seats. You now control KP province up in the northwest.
Yes, a party, firstly breaking into a two-party system. It's unheard of. Normally, I mean, you look at the main in America, in England, the two-party system is too entrenched. You can't break through.
You said you felt it was your destiny to win the World Cup. Do you feel it's your destiny to eventually gain power here?
Look, it's, in anything you do in life, you have to believe that you're going to win. You can't think, what if I don't win? My mind doesn't work that way. I believe I'm going to win, and it's a matter of time. And, one of my colleagues was reminding me, he said, 6 years down the line, we had one seat in Parliament, and he's driving me, and, he's just driving me around and saying, look at this, look at the neglect of that village. They have no drinking water. Look at the state of the road. And I said, don't worry. When we come to power, we'll fix that. And now he tells me, he said, I had to look around and think, is he got mad? I mean, we've got one seat in Parliament. But then you have to believe that. You've got to believe that you're going to win. And I have never not believed one day I'm going to win.
You seem wholly consumed by politics. We've been with you for a week now. You talk cricket a little bit, but under duress, I suspect. It probably costs you your marriage to some degree. I mean, we haven't seen you really socialise. You seem absolutely consumed and committed to this life you have now as a politician.
But in life, to succeed, you have to have total passion and total commitment. Everything else takes a second place.
Including family?
And sadly, if there's one, what's the word I would use? The greatest pain I've had is not seeing my boys grow up. My divorce, where my boys left home and went with their mother. So that was for me, if someone asked me in this 19, almost 20 years now, what did you sacrifice the most? So I would say being a father. I didn't spend enough time with my boys. But if you look around, all those throughout history, people who struggled, their family lives did suffer.
We were with you in Peshawar. There's a heavy security unit with you there. We've come up to your house, and there are armed guards at the bottom of the gate there. You're a marked man for a while. Most of the politicians here in Pakistan don't move as freely as you do. Do you have any fears for your own safety?
There is, I guess, in a way, I said my children not being with me have been my probably greatest pain. But at the same time, it has liberated me from fear, because I basically don't care about, I think there's so many different ways of dying. 5 years I sat in the cancer hospital when it opened, and I saw healthy people 3 of my friends walk in, 6 months later they were gone. So I think, you know, I've lost the fear of dying. So when the time comes, you know, you will, and there's so many ways of going. So actually I don't worry, but I would have worried if my family was here.